Millions, and I mean millions of men, deal with symptoms that get in the way of intimacy. But now, with Roman, you can do something about it. Roman addresses a variety of sexual health needs for men. So when the moment for intimacy comes, you can be ready. Roman ready. Roman offers both prescription medication and non-prescription products that help combat the symptoms of ED. But that's not all. They also provide testosterone testing and treatment. Guys, treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. And better yet, with Roman, everything is online. That means no waiting rooms, no trips to the pharmacy, just a straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. If medication is appropriate, Roman will send it directly to your door. Everything arrives in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Go to ro.co/Chael. That's going to get you 20% off your entire order today. Or just click on the link below. Well, I know we're a little early, guys, but I've got the comeback of 2023 for you, at least for now. Okay, here's the front runner. Let me set up the scenario. Here's your players: Beneil Dariush, Dustin Poirier. Story goes like this. And this dates back, right? Don't forget, Poirier, when he got out of the cage with Michael Chandler, this massive 2 stars, goes to a press conference and he says he thinks it's a pretty good idea. As a matter of fact, to quote him, he said it makes sense for him to fight Beneil Dariush. That's a big word when a fighter uses it, whether it seems like it to you or not. When a fighter says it makes sense, that may not be scandalous, but that should turn your head into that direction. That's just a phrase within the industry. It's part of the vernacular. If you can get a fighter there, you've got him on third base. And this was coming from Dustin Poirier, right? Who's not just a great fighter, he's a star. And there's a difference. And he just got done with some very tough work, known as Michael Chandler. And just to remind you of that exact moment, Khabib Nurmagomedov had taken to Twitter after Dustin's fight and prior to the press conference to say that on the Perth card, which is headlined by Islam and Volkanovski, he believes they should bring Poirier and Dariush. Now, Khabib was attempting to do 2 things. 1, establish a number 1 contenders bout for his guy Islam down the road. 2, provide an opportunity to have a backup fighter on hand. Great. No harm, no foul, but this is where we're all at. And Dustin Poirier, where most guys say, hey, man, give me a minute. Give me some time. The last thing I want to do, right? You kind of want to bask in the glow. You go out and you get a tremendous victory like that. You do want to bask in the glow. You want your 15 minutes. You want all of that. And it's really hard. When the press does ask you what's next, that's their job. That's all that we care about. While it matters to you what's already behind you, to the rest of us, we want to know what's next. So it's just one of these push and pull situations where generally somebody in Poirier's situation would punt. They punt just to get it off the topic, to continue enjoying tonight. Poirier said, man, I think the fight makes sense. So there was some real opportunity there. Now let's fast forward. The fight hasn't got done. Get down to brass tacks, the great comeback. Beneil Dariush came out and said, no, it doesn't look like I'm going to be fighting Dustin Poirier. I would like to fight him, but Dustin said, I don't excite him. Said, I wish Dustin would have finished that thought. What does it mean I don't excite him? What about me doesn't excite him? My style doesn't excite him? My approach doesn't excite him? My ranking doesn't excite him? He said, I wish he would have finished that thought. You know, I think it's because he doesn't want to fight an up-and-comer. Him being a former champion and an established star, an established brand. But, and I say this with all due respect, I'm doing my best to quote Benny here. I say this with all due respect, if you don't want to fight the up-and-comers, then I suggest you retire. Okay, so Poirier comes out, right? If you don't want something to do with something, just don't even touch it. Right? It's that old expression, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, doesn't make a sound. But that's a very real thing. And if you don't want to bring attention to something or somebody, you just ignore it completely. Now, Poirier chose to respond, and he simply said, thank you for the advice, Benny. I'll take that into consideration. If you like hot sauce, free shipping on me. So, I mean, I wouldn't have done that. If I was Poirier, I would not have done that unless I was working. unless I was working towards building this fight. Now, the other side of it is if you have something else that you're marketing, of which he does, hot sauce, maybe you do take consideration to it. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I really did. Like, there's good lines, but then there's sophisticated lines that involve a level of intelligence. And the greatest humor has to do with truth. Can we all agree on that? So there was something very funny about Poirier not dismissing him. As a matter of fact, he thanked him for his advice. That's not mean. That's G-rated. That's not mean. And then he offered him, I guess, a gift of free shipping on his hot sauce. Also, not mean. It was just one of these great things. And it's very easy to see this from both of their positions. I love, without exaggeration to that word, I love the attitude of Beneil Dariush. Those are the guys that I like, man. And he means it. Now, damn near everybody has met it. Nobody's that guy. Nobody's that guy until they're that guy. Nobody's the guy that turns the gun back on the fans, turns the gun back on the organization. Doesn't want to fight guys, needs everything perfect, can't do this, needs more money, has to be a certain round, needs to go through his little training camp. Nobody's that guy until he's that guy. But Benny most certainly is not. He is a true competitor. If you called him up and you had a match for him, it would not matter what the name was. It wouldn't matter if it was the first fight of the night or if it was the main event. There's not very many people like that, particularly with the record, with the resumes, with the skill set, with the pedigree of Beneil Dariush. It's something really compelling. And I know that Dustin had it. I'm not ready to go as far as to tell you he doesn't still have it. I haven't seen that from Dustin Poirier. I have seen a gritty, grimy competitor in Dustin. I have not seen him say goodbye to that. But I think we can understand from Poirier's standpoint of what's in it for me. There was a time when a competition in front of the world, hard work, set a goal, move forward. There was a time when that was all that was needed. But when you've done that rinse and repeat as many times as Poirier has, it is reasonable that now you turn to a little more of, hey, what's in that for me? I feel as though that's all anybody's asking each other right now. We'll see where this whole thing goes. I like the advice by Benny. I really do. And I hope that he gets that free shipping on some hot sauce.